Wow, this was good. Really, really good. Now I know it's a little late, but during the weekend I was busy. I was spending time with family, but don't worry, I finally got to it. So after watching episode 1 and 2 of Devil's Judge, I am impressed. I'm invested. This was really good. Just so many interesting characters. I'm not going to talk about all of them because all of them did not have a good amount of spotlight. I will talk about some of them in future episodes if they do play a certain role. And the relationship so far between Gaon and Johan, it really does remind me of Beyond Evil and the relationship with the main characters in that drama. Man, I forgot their names already. But it's just that whole one main character has so much power and has a secret. And it's another main character who works with that main character and tries to find out what's their agenda and finds out their past. So it's that type of concept between two main characters. It really does remind me of Beyond Evil. So for this review, I'm going to split it between episode 1 and 2. I'm going to talk about episode 1 first and then later on episode 2. And then afterwards, whatever I need to talk about. So episode 1 starts off in Seoul in just chaos. Despair and anger is in the streets. We see people fighting with authorities. At the same time, we see Joong Se giving a speech on how he's going to give Korea back to the people. And he also says that court cases are now going to be televised. And the people of Korea are going to be jurors, meaning they're going to use an app, vote who is guilty and who is not. And also he's bringing in Johan, who is a well-known judge who takes down greedy and corrupted people. This is also Johan's introduction into the story. And also he has a secret. Remember, I'm just talking about episode 1. Him with the whole church and the burning thing. My guess is, yeah, he burned the church. After the introduction of Johan, we get an introduction of Gaon. He is a young judge. He pretty much introduces himself, where he works. But then once he got into Johan's office, he introduced himself. It was a little awkwardness, but then after he left, Johan was looking at his desk at some papers. On top of the paper, it says conned married couple killed themselves. And under that paper was Gaon's resume. And Johan says he looks just like his dad. So the couple in the paper, that's his parents. Then fast forward to the trial. Johan is the judge for that trial. When they introduced the trial, it did remind me of a reality TV show, which I thought was pretty hilarious. But anyway, the trial is about Chairman Ju and his company discharging toxic wastewater, which led to 47 victims. 11 of them are dead. And during the trial, it doesn't take long for a back and forth verbal argument. And to sum up how I felt watching the trial, I felt chills. It was really good. Then towards the end of the trial, Johan names all of the victims. And after he named all of them, he says, Chairman Ju, I sentence you to 235 years in prison. That is basically life in prison. Unless you know someone who is older than 235 years, who lived over 2 centuries. That is, well, first off, that is amazing. But that's crazy. But then it got a little bit more interesting. After the trial, an elderly woman crying, thanking Johan for justice. And he hugged her. And as they were hugging, Johan yawned, which Gaon noticed. He took notice of it. And then Johan and Gaon, they pretty much exchange glances. And then we see Johan doing this. And then we see fire in the church in the background. And I'm thinking, what does Gaon have to do with the church and the fire? Unless his dad is involved. So that was episode 1. Now for episode 2, there's no trial in episode 2. This is mainly about getting to know Gaon and Johan's past. So episode 2 starts off with Gaon. He's very troubled with Johan's behavior, especially him yawning while hugging an elderly woman who was crying, saying thank you for justice. So after that, Johan invites Jinju and Gaon to dinner. During dinner, Johan, he doesn't have a filter. He really doesn't. He just straightforward say, hey, your father is a loan shark. And you, Gaon, you have a history of borrowing money. And hearing all of this was too much. And Gaon, he was pretty much gone. Let's get to Gaon learning more about Johan's past. So Gaon, he had recordings of Johan during the trial, during him talking about justice, and he also had audio earlier, and he gave it to Soohyun. And these two are pretty much getting evidence to learn about Johan's past, and I'm pretty sure this is their way of trying to exploit him. Then fast forward to Gaon, he visits the church that Johan grew up, and this is where he learns that Johan was treated like a monster, killing a bird in class, getting back at bullies, but we do see a glimpse of young Johan scared, and I'm assuming he was abused while growing up in the church. So it makes me think, if he was abused in the church as a kid, that could make sense to him burning the church. So yeah, there's my theory there. Then after that, Gaon, he heads back to Johan's office. He finds out the recording device that he used to bug Johan's office is gone, because Johan, he knew about it and he called him out on it. Then after that, a bomb, which was behind a wall painting, explodes. They both survive. Well, obviously they have to. They're the main characters. And Johan is carrying Gaon on his back out the room. I have to say it again. This was really, really good. I want to know more about Johan's past, with the church burning, him being treated as a monster during his time growing up at the church. It does make sense that Johan burned the church down. If he was treated as a monster at church, it seems like he didn't have a good childhood there. So, and also we did see a glimpse of him scared, so maybe he was abused and that led him to burning down the church. This is only a theory. I'm also curious to when Gaon is going to question Johan about his dad. I mean, Johan did say that his dad was a loan shark, and by saying that, it means that he knew his dad. So I'm waiting for that time to come. And also with the whole church burning thing, it looks like Johan does have a history with Gaon's dad, and maybe not a good one, to be honest. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of both episodes. If there's anything I might have missed, please leave it in the comments below. Other than that, if you like this video, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. See ya!